Hi everyone. Today we are going to explain the last session, the last idea about chapter 10. And so we want the main idea is, and the main goal of this chapter is to know how to solve a quadratic equation. So we need to know, first of all, the difference between a quadratic equation and trinomial. So normally we know any trinomial, the general form of any trinomial is ax squared plus bx plus c. So any trinomial, we should have the term with x squared, okay? So a should be different than 0. Good. If we add equal to 0, if we add this mark of equality, the equal sign equal to 0, so normally we obtain a quadratic equation. So any quadratic equation has the general form ax squared plus bx plus c equal this equal sign, okay, leads us to have a quadratic equation, equality equation. Good. We have different forms of a quadratic equation. We might have the simple form, x squared equal to constant. Okay, so when b equal to 0 and c equal to 0, we could have the form consisting of x term only. I mean here, when we have c equal to 0, so it remains ax squared plus bx equal to 0. Okay, this form, or we could have the general form ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. How to proceed, how to solve each one of these equations. Normally, the main plan, the main steps to follow, step 1, how we can solve a quadratic equation in general. In general, we mean in general for any of these forms, we should follow the following steps. Step 1, make the right hand side of the equal to nil, equal to 0. Second step, we factor the whole expression found in the left hand side of the equal. So if we put all the term here, we put it and remove it to the left hand side of the equal to make this side equal to 0. Then we factor the terms found in the left-hand side of the equal. Finally, we proceed as each factor equal to 0. Good, because we know that if we have a 2 factors or 3 factors, the product of 2 or 3 or more factors equal to 0. So of course, one of each of these factors equal to 0. So normally x equal to 0 or y equal to 0 or both are equal to 0. So yes, we first of all we want to start with the simple form x squared equal to constant. Of course, this constant should be positive. Why? Because we know the squared of any number could be positive or negative, should be equal to a positive constant. So if we put -1, for example, squared, so the result is positive. And if we put a number, any positive number, we on the power 2 will obtain a 4, a positive. So normally this constant should be a positive. So how to solve a given equation? It is easy. We could do as we said before. We make the right hand side equal to 0. The right hand side equal to 0. We factor the expression located in the left hand side of the equal. Then we proceed as each factor equal to 0. But it is easier here because we have a simple form, so we can proceed as follow. We have x squared equal to 10. It is easy to apply the square root on both sides. What we mean by square root? We square root of x squared, okay, equal. So because we know that the square root give us plus or minus radical of 10. So it is easy to know that the quadratic equations in this simple form have two answers, okay? Have two answers. So we find the square root of both sides when x squared is a number, okay? And we should know that there is always a positive and a negative answer for a square root of when we apply the square root of both sides. I mean, for a simple form, x squared equal to constant. So if we apply it to the next example, it's easy to know. It's easy to explain. When we have x squared equal to 4, we apply the square root of 4 on both sides. So we obtain, instead of x, we obtain x squared, we obtain x equal to plus minus radical 4. So the roots are positive root, positive answer, plus 2 and minus 2. And the same for the following exercises, and the following numbers are here. I want to give you an important information. If we have, for example, x squared equal to negative number, how to proceed here? So it is easily and it is trivial to say that it is impossible to find a solution, any solution for this equation. Why? Because it is impossible to have x squared equal to negative number. So good, let's follow. Let's move on. So we might have 5x squared equal to 80. So how to proceed here? So normally it is easy to imitate and to be a good imitator and to imitate what we saw before in the previous paragraph. So normally, first of all, we have a 5 here. So to get rid of 5, we have a 5 multiplied by x squared. So if we want to move 5, or easily we can say that we divide both sides of the equal by 5. So normally nothing is change here, because you know, if we divide by the same number, we multiply by the same number, both sides, we divide, we subtract, we add both the same number for on both sides, so we obtain an equivalent number, equivalent equation. So we will obtain here x squared equal to 16 if we divide both sides by 5. Then x squared equal to 16 is a simple form, as we explained before, easy to solve and to find its solutions. So normally x equal to plus minus radical 16, we apply the square root of both sides. Okay, so easy also here. So we get rid of 144 by dividing both sides by 144. So we obtain x squared equal to 49 over 144. And then we apply the square root to obtain a plus minus radical 49 over 144. So the answers, we have positive answer and negative answer, 7 over 12 and minus 7 over 12. So the same for if we have 9x squared minus 8 equal to 56. We have only the x squared term. So normally we get rid of all constants and we move it to the right-hand side of the equal. How? First of all, the weak operation is minus 8. First of all, we get rid of minus 8, so plus 8, to get, or for this one, for example, plus 7. So we move it to obtain minus 7 to the right-hand side of the equal. So normally the result is 100. 81 x squared equal to 100. So to get rid of 88, we divide both sides by 88 to obtain x squared equal to 100 over 88. Then we apply the square root to obtain two different opposite answers, plus radical 100 over 88 and minus radical 100 over 88. So the solutions are 10 over 9 or minus 10 over 9. Moving on to the second form of a quadratic equation. Yes, we have an equation because we have the equal sign. We have only x terms, so it is easy to follow the plan that we wrote down before. We ensure that the right-hand side of the equal is nil. Good, we have it. So the second step to follow is to factor the x terms. Easy to factor the x terms. How? So we first of all we find the highest common factor between the numerical numbers of these x terms. So we have a 3 and we have a 6. 6 can be written as a 3 by 2. So the common is a 3. We put it outside and we have a x squared, we have a x. The common factor between x squared and x, the highest common factor, the HCF of x squared and x is x power 1. Okay, we put it outside. So 3x is the common factor between these two x terms. Okay, then we open the factor. What remains from 3x squared if we take a 3 to the outside, and to take x, it remains for us x. And here it remains 2. So normally we obtain 3x factor x plus 2 equal to 0. Then the third step is to put each factor equal to 0. 3x equal to 0, or the second factor equal to 0, x plus 2 equal to 0. 3x equal to 0, so x for sure equal to 0 because we divide both sides by 3 to obtain 0 divided by anything. If we have a numerator as nil, so we will obtain a 0. Then x plus 2 equal to 0, so x equal to minus 2. So also, when factorized, the equation is of the form xy equal to 0. So we put each factor equal to 0. We should know that this cannot be done if the product does not equal to 0. Of course, if we have the product xy equal to 1, so it is impossible to put each factor equal to 1. It is only applied when we have a product of different factors equal to 0, because we know that one of these factors should be equal to 0. So normally the same, we can apply the same one to this one because we have only x terms, we have no constant added or subtracted. So normally we take the highest common factor to outside. So as a common factor, we have a 4, we have a 12. We know that 12 is 4 by 3, so 4 is the common numerical part for these two x terms. And then we take x as common factor, so 4x, and we open the factor. What remain from 4x squared? X, and from 12x is 3. So normally each factor equal to 0, 4x equal to 0, so x equal to 0, or the second factor equal to 0, so x equal to minus 3. Moving on to the third form of the equation, sorry, it's not the simple form, it is the general form of an equation. We have an equality, so it is equation of second degree, but because we have ax squared, we have x squared, so it is a general form of a quadratic equation. How to proceed here? We want to, first of all, as we said before, to factor this, to factor the left-hand side of the equal when the right-hand side is in nil. So normally ax squared plus bx plus c. In the previous session, we explained how to factorize a trinomial of second degree. How to factorize it? Easy to find. For example, minus 8 here. Here, minus 8 is the when we are searching for AB. Okay, to put it as x plus a factor x plus b. We explained before that, first of all, plus 12 is the product of AB. So normally AB is the product, okay, the product. So normally 12 positive. So normally because the product is positive here, so normally positive, so normally A and B are of the same sign. A and B can be positive both, okay, or negative both, because their product equal to a positive number. And normally this minus 8 for A plus B, because they have the same signs, so normally the A and B are negative. Why? Because their sum equal to a negative number. So both are negative, okay? Their product is 12, and their sum is -8. So normally, if we what are the numbers, the factors of 12? Could be, for example, 3, 4. But we are talking about -3, -4, or for example, -2, -6. Okay. So normally -2, -6. If we add these two numbers, we'll obtain -8. If we multiply these two numbers, we'll obtain a 12. So normally, A is -2 and B is -6. So normally, when we factorize this expression, we'll obtain x minus 6 factor x minus 2 equal to 0. Then the third step, the last step, when we want to solve an equation, so is to solve each factor equal to 0, x minus 6 equal to 0, or x minus 2 equal to 0, x minus 6 equal to 0, so x equal to 6, or x equal to 2. And you can follow the same step as what I did here for in the exercise 4 to obtain and to solve a general form of a given quadratic equation. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.